What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Zach, and this is 4.0 Solutions, where we help you with all things digital transformation, IIoT, and Industry 4.0. We just opened our mentorship program. The Industry 4.0 Mentorship Program is now open for registration. There's a link below if you want to join. This video is all about the last week's mentorship mastermind call. We combined all the mentees and the people in our mastermind group together in one call. We had a 3-hour session. Part of that discussion, we actually introduced about a dozen or so of the new mentees. We've actually had 47 new people join the program in the last 11 days. And so really excited. I wanted to share this video with you guys. I did get permission from the mentees that they said it was okay to share. So welcome, meet the new mentees and enjoy the video.
Go ahead, Zach.
Yeah, before you get into the presentation, I would like to take a chance to thank and welcome all of the new mentees into the program that signed up since the last launch period. It's great to have you guys here. If you guys are new to the program, if you just joined in the last week, would you use the Zoom feature to raise your hand? We'd like you to introduce yourself to the group, to the rest of the team, the other mentees, the other mastermind members, so that way we get an idea of who is it that's joining. You know, what's your name, where are you from, what do you do? Keep it 30 seconds so we have a chance to get to everyone. I know Walker's still got a presentation to get to, so and don't be shy. Thank you so much.
Start with Lee.
Start with Lee.
Hi, yeah, Lee Taylor from the UK. Been in automation most of my life, 30 years, started in the water industry. Yeah, I'm here because I've realized we can do this better. And I found you guys online and it's transformed my life. Left my full-time job. And it's been brilliant ever since, really, to be honest.
Are you consulting, Lee?
So I'm consulting into another water company in the UK, doing a solutions architect role, OT side, not full stack. So we've got 2 solutions architect back to back. I've got an IT equivalent, but yeah, absolutely brilliant.
Thank you. Welcome. Richard, good to see you again. So you moved up into Mastermind?
Yep, as of yesterday.
Awesome.
All right, so I know several of you from the Discord, but Richard Shaw, worked for Smith & Nephew, been there nearly 20 years. And I kind of feel like everything I've done has kind of led me to this. So I've got a ton of manufacturing experience, CNC, Swiss turns, 3, 4, 5-axis milling, cold heading, thread milling, thread work, all of that stuff, injection molding, casting over the years. Strong on the design side. I was a gauge designer for 2.5 years, so strong on GD&T too. But then this is when I found this, the whole 4.0 system, that's when everything kind of converged between what I'd done for work and what I do at home. So some of you may know I'm a Fedora package maintainer for the last 10 years. I use Linux as my daily driver at home, and big into the IoT stuff now. And it's just kind of, everything just kind of clicked when I found this place.
Awesome. David Rodriguez.
Hi, I'm David. I work for the pharma industry in the Netherlands. I'm a junior engineer, about 1 year now in the position. And I joined the program because in the company, along with another colleague, we are responsible to building the automation department. The managers come to us and ask us, okay, we want to digitally transform, but how do we start? What is the starting point? And this resonated a lot. So awesome. Here I am.
Marco, good to see you again, buddy.
Hello, good to see you guys. Yes, my name is Marco. I'm operations director at the BorgWarner Seneca plant. Yeah, and I joined the program to support our digital transformation journey, and that's what we are looking for, to look for help during that process and support and develop also our teams. So hello, everyone.
Thank you for that. Phil Nwam. Or Wham.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. My name is Philip. It's Phil Wamina, but then Wamina will be kind of a mouthful for people to pronounce, so it's just Wam. I started my career 5 years ago with a company that is building the single largest train refinery in the world in Africa. So when I started, before then, I knew about digitalization, digital transformation, and all of that. And immediately I keyed into it. I really like it. It became very worrisome for me because of we are more of the end user. So I went down to Schneider in India. I saw what they're doing. I saw what the engineers are doing. I really keyed into it. I really appreciated it. So I told myself that I would prefer being part of engineers doing things than just being in the end user and just consuming all of those things those guys are doing. So we went there, we were following what they're doing, ensuring it meets up with the system requirement and all of that. So the basic design engineering package from our licensor, that is UOP in the US. So we went through all the packages, all of the designs, we understood it, and we saw people implementing it. So I told myself that I would also want to translate this design into actualization, into implementation, like what these engineers are doing. So I was looking for an avenue that would teach me not just to understand the engineering aspect, the design aspect, but also how to implement it. So one day I just went to LinkedIn and I saw a post there from Interlink that says, oh, digitalization and all of that. So I watched the video. It was very interesting. I said, okay, fine. I have to key in. So I keyed in. Back then I was in Nigeria. Then after that, I had an opportunity of coming down to the US for my master's in computer science. Seriously, I was totally happy because I know too well I'll be able to continue with this program. And I came in. I came in August this year. And after then, I spoke with Zach and he told me to wait till December, which I've
So
done.
Phil,
And
are you in the States now?
yes, I am.
Awesome. Where are you located in the States?
Yeah, I'm in Macomb, Illinois.
Got it. Awesome.
Yeah.
Welcome to the community. Thank you for contributing. Manbir, is it Manbir?
Yeah, Man with a Beer is right name. I work in a consulting world for almost a decade. Big consulting companies, working on a digital transformation projects, mainly on moving the data from traditional data systems to Hadoop data lake or SAP data warehouse. The challenges, as I watch your videos, I resonate more because we build this high scale project of moving the data, and the security team comes in and tell us, oh, by the way, you cannot move the financial data, and you can use a spreadsheet to upload it manually, which loses the whole purpose of $1 million project. Right. But again, we were part of consulting, so we've just followed along. I do have MBA. I'm sorry, it was paid by the employer, so I took a perk. But in my earlier career days, when I was in school, by the way, I'm from Detroit, so I worked in assembly lines myself for the tier 1 automotive supplier. And even I have some of the connections over there, and I still see they are very, very manual today. They are trying to go, but they don't have the path or the vision. And as I tried to learn more, I came across 4.0 solutions, and that's where it clicked that how your program is covering all the aspects from each of the stack that you have to connect the data right from the plant floor to the cloud, and how to unlock the potential. And that's where I'm here and trying to update my technical skills and learn more about it.
Let me ask you, your undergraduate work. So you have an MBA. Undergrad is in a technical field. Are you an engineer?
It's still in BBA with the supply chain major. And the reason I picked supply chain was because I was working in the tier 1 automotive supplier doing production planning and materials management.
Here's the most valuable combination, in my opinion, degree wise. So double E or manufacturing engineering or mechanical engineering with MBA. I think those are the most valuable combinations. Here, interesting fact, and one of the things I'm going to talk about today when we do the supply chain piece, and I use this example, the customer that we're working with right now is in the they're in the chemical industry. And one of the advantages that the chemical industry has is that they are only run by engineers. Everybody who's in the leadership of the organization has a degree in chemical engineering, like across the board. And they have a distinct advantage over the rest of industry, especially if they want to branch out into different verticals where they already have technologists running their companies. And one of the things that you guys will notice, it was a video we did in September, which is, the future of industry, right? And there's a second video that's coming for that. And I do apologize for the delay. I'm going to explain everything, why everything's been delayed. One of the things we talked about is manufacturers need to change who's running the organizations, right? They got to move away from HR and accountants, away from HR and MBAs, okay? And they need to move toward technologists running the organizations. If you look at Tesla and Amazon or whatever, they're run by technologists. So, men, beer. Actually, real quick, if you can share, you're willing to share. When you say that you work for big consulting firms, are you talking like Capgemini, Wipro, like those type of?
I currently work for Kyndryl. It's a IBM split off. So IBM split off the company in November. Make two. The technology services, they separate it out, and Kyndryl itself is now a publicly traded company as of November 4th. But
so one of the sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, sorry. And previously was Deloitte, and there was a startup called InfoTrellis that was acquired by Informatica. So, but work for the end clients for like a Ford Motor Company, Cisco, UPS, Farmers Insurance. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Welcome. Oh, sweet. I would the water guys. I would reach out to Dan Reichen. Dan's been, or have Dan reach out to you guys. Either way, I'm speaking for Dan here. I apologize, brother, but I'm just volunteering Dan's services, people. So Dan's got extensive background in water, and has been a big member of the community for the last year. And he's also in California, which is, it doesn't get any more bureaucratic than where he works. So if there's somebody that you wanted to bounce ideas off of or seek encouragement from, Dan would be the guy. I would highly recommend anybody who's especially involved in water or in really bureaucratic organizations to get in touch with Dan, especially because Dan has started from, Dan wasn't doing this stuff when he first got started. I mean, Dan's he was a manager and less technical. He was in charge of controls, but I highly recommend you get with Dan, and maybe Dan can put a bunch of you like-minded folks together and see if you can't come up with a different strategy for, trying to make inroads. So, but welcome, Stuart.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd recommend talking with Dan every day as well. Brent, yes. He'll put a smile on your face. He's like, most people, they get into meditation and stuff. All they really need to do is give Dan a call, and he'll get your heart set right. Okay. Is it Chi, or is it what?
Sorry. It's Chris.
Okay, Chris. Sorry.
Yeah. Auto name.
Okay.
But I'm Chris, and I'm from Sydney, and a recent graduate of mechatronics engineering and commerce. And recently I've done actually 1 year of sales engineering for a SI company. And I guess I stumbled across you guys when trying to figure out exactly where our company fits in terms of the whole industry 3.0 systems integrator versus 4.0, and just went down the rabbit hole and found your stuff really interesting, and love the mission, love everything about it.
Awesome. Welcome. I'd love to talk to you more about what you're doing. And Sydney, by the way, is one of my favorite cities in the world. I'm a Swans supporter. Still have my seats at the SCG, even though I haven't been able to go the last 2 years. So I'm a big, I did a big trip to Australia for a couple of months a few years ago and just followed the Swans all around the country. And so you're probably into rugby like everybody else, but
a little bit.
Okay. Is it Petter or Peter? And Dan Reichen just put his contact info in the chat for you guys to get a hold of him. He wants to put together a water study group. Dan is very good at putting together teams of like-minded people, by the way. Peter says, I'm not at my regular setup. I'm a student from Norway who recently finished a master's thesis within structural health monitoring. This thesis created an IoT digital twin system, which I've tested using a mountain bike equipped with a bunch of good stuff. My specialization is within ICT and production management, so I have experience in multiple fields. I'm looking forward to sharing knowledge and learning more. Hey, that would be a good have Peter demo his master's thesis for the group. I'd like to see that, actually. Zach, will you put that on the list? If he's willing to do it. And John McKeon, also, for those of you guys who are in Europe, John is...
Whose master's thesis?
His name's Peter Rolvag. And John McKeon he's the principal at GIS, which is based in Ireland. We've been collaborating for a few years. They are a like-minded industry. They're a full-blown industry 4.0 systems integrator. So if you've got any questions in Europe, he's a great guy to get a hold of. John, you're up. Don't know which John that
is. That me?
Yes.
I think it's sorry, just finished dropping my son off at daycare. But yeah, so I started off as a mechanical engineer. Just joined the mentorship program, but I started off as a mechanical engineer, a subsea pressure temperature sensor manufacturer. Okay. And that went down. that kind of took a turn for the worse, but I ended up working for a startup for a while. Then that got bought out, and I ended up working at where I am now, where I had the opportunity to start getting more into automation. And now I'm working with robotics more, automating some of the processes that we have. And one day someone came to me and they were like, hey, we want to build a product that is IIoT enabled or something like that. So that's how I started going down the rabbit hole of Industry 4.0. And I stumbled across you guys.
Are you at a manufacturer, or are you at like a consultant or an OEM?
Yeah, so I work for a manufacturer that makes rupture discs and relief valves.
Got it.
And yeah, and I also have a side business as a consultant. So Perfect. As a consultant, I did one project so far where I made a dashboard for a customer that monitors their equipment out in the field using Ixon.
This is what so for John, so I want to give you guys an example of, let's say I'm John, and the questions that I would ask my employer, right? So that I understand better how I fit. How do we make products that get better after people buy them? Like, that's the question I would ask my leadership. I would say, we're in the business of making rupture discs for pressure valves, whatever, right? How do we make products that get better after our clients buy them? That's the question I would ask. Okay. But welcome, John. Peter says he'd love to demo the master's thesis. It'd be fun, and I'd get an opportunity to make a proper introduction. That'd be great. Zach, please set up a follow-up conversation with Peter on that, please. Shannon Looper. Great name, by the way. That's a great name.
Thanks. Maybe I should go to showbiz. So how do I explain me? So right now I'm working for a small EE design firm, and we also do some programming work. It's all water and wastewater here in Dallas. I actually live in Carrollton, kind of a couple of miles from.
Oh, you're just down the street from us.
Yeah. And so I've been in technology for like 40 years. I like the water and wastewater a lot better than some other things, because at night when I go to sleep, I can feel like I made a positive contribution instead of, there's some other industries that I really don't, my conscience bugs me if I contribute my energy to what they're up to. Anyway, so I kind of collect roles, if that makes any sense. So right now I'm learning how to write formal specs, or I am writing formal specs. And, I've done stuff like reviewing submittals and all that kind of garbage, but I bounce back and forth between IT and OT. So on the IT side, I've done a lot of database development, worked in big software projects and small software projects. I'm Scrum certified as a Scrum Master and a product owner, and all that kind of stuff on that side. So I get a view of what's going on in the traditional IT, like software development technology and methodology and all that sort of stuff, and then come back over to the OT side and see the gap. And then I want to kind of that's what I'm currently interested in, is like, how can we apply the current latest ideas and processes and methodologies on the OT side.
Perfect. You should, and this is something I stress all the time to organizations. Most organizations want to digitally transform from the top down or from the IT side to the OT side, right? That's the direction they want to go. They want to apply what they've been doing in IT to OT. And that's sort of what you need to do, except you have to start with OT's problems and solve OT's problems with IT solutions, and understanding that OT's problems are always changing. So you have to have a mechanism for being able to adjust to their changing problems. They're always going to change, right?
Yes. One of the things I always get pulled into is like, what's the correct, like the formal term is cross-functional communications.
Yes.
So I can understand everybody's different perspectives. And then when the IT department wants to do certain things in the OT networking, I can talk IT to the IT guys and OT to the OT guys.
And that makes you rare. That makes you very rare.
I can talk sales. I can talk sales to the sales guys. I can talk marketing to the marketing guys. I can talk to the CFO. Like I really get into other people's world pretty quick. And so then I can, like, where they're not communicating, I can bridge that gap.
So I'd love to have lunch with you, man. If you'd love to have lunch, our office is right next to Standridge Stadium, so I'm really literally just down the street from you.
Yep.
So awesome, man.
Okay.
I'll reach out to you and we can grab lunch or something, grab coffee or something.
Okay.
So, Brian.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Brian Pryby. I'm from Toledo, Ohio. I've been in automation for 3 years now, but I've steadily moved all the way up from building panels all the way to controls engineering and then becoming my own systems integrator. I've found 4.0 solutions on YouTube and through researching, and it just slowly started devouring the content, and I listened to every single one of the Spotify podcasts just to get an idea of what everything was being talked about during work and stuff. So after that, I joined the Discord community and then have been talking with everybody that's been in there that I've been hearing about this whole time when I was listening to the podcasts, and I've also now just joined Mastermind.
Awesome. Welcome, brother. Brian, who's in the car, Brian?
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks a lot. It's Brian Blake. My story is pretty similar to Brian, the last Brian.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from Syracuse, New York.
Yeah,
I
grew up in Ithaca. I grew up in Ithaca. So
I know it was really exciting because I had probably gotten, I don't know, I maybe a quarter way through the podcast, and I realized Walker's like from like Corning, Ithaca area. Like, yeah. That's awesome. So anyway, the past 10 years, I worked, just lucked out, stumbled into being a panel builder. And then, 12 years, 2 years as a panel builder. And then I was designing custom packaging machinery just north of Syracuse. I got involved in the service department there. Didn't appreciate the amount of value that was being created by the individuals.
Right.
The overhead in comparison, like I felt like I think I could start my own OEM. Like but it would take me a few $1 million to build a building and a team and a process. But when I joined this service department, it was like, it's just these individual skills and they're just creating so much value for the customer. We could triple the price on the customer, and the value of improving process at an end user was just huge. And it blew my mind how easy it was given my skill set. Like, it was like, we were underappreciated as controls engineers until I got into really interfacing with end users. And it was like, holy cow, this is amazing. I fell in love with it very quickly. Just love the firefight, troubleshooting, So I ultimately decided I was going to have a potentially more technical side, or have a full spectrum of technical services up to machine risk assessment services, and you know, a full gamut of different skill sets and people with different skill levels. Central New York focused, so that I can drive home to my 1-year-old and my 3-year-old every day. But yeah, I actually Monday this week I quit after 12 years, my entire career as a OEM controls engineer, and I'm doing some contracting for a short term. While I super appreciative of your intro on like how to scale up, because that's kind of like right now it's like I just got to accumulate capital to have some buffer to hire that next guy. But I love the idea of just the that agreement where I'm just going to sell the job and we're hitting the ground running. I've got,
and that made, by the way,
having,
it made a huge difference that we did that. Like it made all the difference in the world, because I didn't have to worry about selling something I couldn't staff, because I already had the commitment from the team. Once I sell the next job, this person's going to join at this rate, and they're going to do 1099 and get paid when the invoice was paid. Like everybody agreed to all the stuff. It was all lined up, boom. And then we scaled up quickly. But real quick, Brian, did you watch the video where I used the upstate New York example, CED, Baldwin Hall, and Horizon Solutions? Okay. So that hit. Yeah.
It blew my mind. I'm like, I've been trying to I partnered with CED practically. Yeah. They've helped me out a ton, but it's amazing like, guy. I watched
Is
that
it
video,
still, like, who's the guy who runs the show? He's the tall guy. He went to Syracuse also, actually.
Tim Carter.
Tim Carter. There you go. Yeah. He's big, tall, but by the way, Tim Carter is one of the greatest guys on the planet. For those of you not from New York or whatever, but Tim Carter, he I can't remember the guy who ran CED Baldwin Hall before him when he retired. Tim took over, but I've known Tim for 20 years, man. I mean, he's just one of the greatest guy. He's an example of an organization that does it right. CED Baldwin Hall played a huge role in developing my career, and I can't say enough great things about Tim, by the way. So that's welcome, Brian. Thanks. By the way, I'd love to have a conversation with you to help you get you off the ground if I can.
That'd be amazing. Thanks, Walker.
Right. Bijou I'm assuming it's Bijou, right?
Yeah, it's Bijou.
Awesome. Yep.
Hi all. Myself Bijou. I'm from Singapore. Actually, I started my career 15 years back in India as a system integrator. Mostly handling Siemens products like Siemens PLC, WinCC, PC7 kind of stuffs. To be frank, I'm still with them actually. After a couple of years, they decided to start an office in Singapore. So I got a chance to come here, but with a different role of more into business development kind of stuffs and kind of project management kind of stuffs and all. But I'm a hardcore automation guy. So since we have limited knowledge, limited to PLC and SCADA, so my intention of joining this group is to basically get to know more about the 4.0 stuffs and to know the best practices in this industry. So I believe it's a good start.
Perfect. I'm gonna be going through the curriculum here in a minute. As soon as we're done with the intros, I'm gonna switch over to I'm gonna talk about what I've been doing, and then we'll do the curriculum. And then so this should help you understand a little bit better kind of the direction you're going. Okay.
Great.
Sean Arney.
Yep. Hey everyone, I'm Sean. I'm in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm a packaging engineer, and I've been in the packaging industry for over 30 years. Various roles, a lot of it in software and software development. Back in the 90s, I helped develop some CAD systems, and back then what was automation systems, and then worked for the industry's largest software company called ESCO, which is a global company and supplier to that industry, and ran systems integrations for North America. It's a different term in that industry. It's more of software integrations and integrations between tech systems. So between the CAD and the ERP, for example, that kind of thing. And then I sold heavy packaging equipment for many years. And my partners and I started a startup in 2019, just before COVID hit, with the idea that we could develop industrial IoT systems that would measure digital cutting equipment performance and build that with an estimating system that would use machine learning and AI to get better itself, a closed loop self-learning system to do better estimating for this weird end of packaging and converting businesses. And so through COVID, we've managed to stay alive. And it's really interesting, you know, I don't know how you came up in my feed, but one of your videos came up in my feed and it just started to ring the bells. I mean, everything we talk about opening the data, not having to pay high paid guys for API connections to point systems. And all of these things were things that we were struggling with and evangelizing and talking about. And then, you know, you brought this all to a head. And I said, you know, we don't have the same needs as probably most of the people in this call, as far as, you know, what you're dealing with your stacks and your situations, but we have our own stack and our own weird situation. I know you had some background in packaging or print converting anyway, and it's that industry that we're in. So
we're actually going to we're going to be talking about that today. In fact, the example I'm going to talk about is graphic arts on the ink side and packaging, flexible packaging on the consumer side. That's actually the example I'm going to do for supply chain.
Oh, right on.
Real quick, you should talk with Mario Ishigawa. So you and Mario should get together because Mario, well, you guys can share ideas, but his company, Pack IoT, covers a subset of what you're talking about here. So there's definitely going to be synergy between the two of you guys.
Oh, awesome. Excellent.
Hoping to connect with you, Sean. Thank you.
And Brian, or Mario, you're in Brazil, but I actually don't know where in Brazil you're at.
Yes, I'm in Brazil, but right in the south of Brazil. It's a city called Florianópolis.
Yeah. We don't normally do this. This is because we just did the launch event and we added all these people. We want to make sure everyone gets, because there are people in the community right now that have been here for 15, 16 months. I mean, there are people, this is their 25th or 30th event. So you've got this community that's all been working together. You know, there's 4 communities. You have the people who started at the very beginning, then the people who came in January, then the people who came in June, and now our new people. And what we're trying to do is we want to keep it one community. And so that's why we take the time to go through and have, I know that it's long, but it'll be worth it in the end for everyone to get introduced to one another. Chris Demers or Demers? Is it Demers?
Demers. Yeah.
Demers.
Yeah, thanks, Walker.
Yep.
So I am Chris. I'm a principal scientist at Catalent Pharma Solutions. I've got a PhD in biomedical engineering, was heading down kind of the academic career path. It didn't really pan out. So hopped over to industry. Biopharma, bioprocessing was a natural extension of my background. So at Catalent, I was hired to do data science. So at Catalent, I'm doing a bit of driving for a digital strategy. It's become a big thing for Catalent, and I want to get it right. So that's when I came across your videos, researching more about digital transformation. It really resonated, and so I joined the mastermind. And yeah, looking forward to being part of this group.
Welcome. All right. I actually, before Adam Hans goes, Chris Udy, you had your hand up, and then you either you disconnected and reconnected. But why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, Chris?
I'm Chris Udy. I work with Mr. IIoT. I come from a IT background in manufacturing, where I was a business system engineer. Did a lot of different integration and device connecting. Worked there for 8 years with Chris Meester, who you have talked with in the past. And when he went out and started his own company, he kept trying to hire me. I didn't go at first because I wasn't ready to make that plunge as a consultant. And I ended up going and working at a online university place as a back-end developer. And then eventually Chris got enough gigs to where he was like, I need you. And I said, okay, I'm coming. So since February of this year, I've been working with him at Mr. IIoT, and I'm trying to guide the company as far as from a process standpoint, and also fill in the gaps for some of the different engineering and development stuff we have to do, and just trying to grow the company. And join this because, a lot of the stuff that I kept telling him we need to do or we should do, you guys are already doing it, and I didn't want to reinvent the wheel. So, the biggest thing that we struggle with right now is, we want to do digital transformation. We want to work with a company to through the entire process and continue working with them and help them understand what they need to do, why they need to do it. And the best way that I think to do that is to absorb as much as I can from you guys, the community, and so I can move us forward.
Welcome, Chris. Let me some background stuff. So Mr. IIoT, you guys may not know this, but there's a guy named Chris Meester. He's from Chicago, right? You guys are in Chicago, Chris? So
right.
Brilliant developer, tons and tons of manufacturing experience. He's a super smart dude. He started writing, he was writing IIoT literature before IIoT was popular. I mean, he owns Mr. IIoT, for goodness sakes. That's how long he's been doing this in terms of domain stuff. So specifically about Chicago and some of the challenges you guys have in Chicago. So anybody who's in the legacy manufacturing areas, especially in the Midwest, especially Chicago, Detroit, Auburn Hills, all those places. The biggest challenge that you guys face there is those organizations all suffer from their previous success. We tell organizations all the time that if you're a manufacturer who was started before the year 2000 and you're still in business today, then you have had years and years of success that got to where you are. And that success is an albatross around your neck when it comes to digital transformation. And you guys may hear it in this form. We tried that. It didn't work. That's never going to work here. This is the way we've always done it. I tested that in 1989 and it never scaled, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The advantage that new companies have is that they are not constrained by their previous successes. And so here's how we have achieved the most success in Chicago area businesses. So we have several clients that are in the Chicagoland area, right? Number one, you have to have an internal champion at the organization, preferably someone who's young, not older than the age of 40, say someone in their 30s. They've only got a couple of years in, and they're willing to burn up all their political capital to get one project that could fundamentally transform the organization. And you want to hitch to your wagon to that person. Now that helps in any use case, but in our experience, we have not been able to achieve success in Chicago, in that area, in Chicago, Detroit, Auburn Hills, that whole area up there, without that has been a prerequisite to getting a successful pilot off the ground in those areas. Okay. And you have to have somebody who's willing to stick their neck out and stake their career on the opportunity. And you don't necessarily need that everywhere else, but you definitely, in our experience, you need it there. But thank you, Chris. Welcome to the community. Adam, last two, and then we'll get going. Adam Hunts.
Hey, my name's Adam. I'm another Madison, Wisconsinite.
Welcome.
I'm just half a year outside of grad school, working for a consulting company called Simulation Dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly doing analytics work, do some quality control using vision systems. My boss, Mike Denzine, maybe you met him, maybe you haven't, but he's around. He got us into this because we've been doing some projects for a company where we would do a bunch of the work and then wouldn't get much of the glory. And he said, well, I feel like we can do it. We can do all of this. And he found you guys, and he's just fell in love and has been preaching it ever since. So I came to check it out, see what's going on.
Awesome.
Yep.
Are you what your graduate work is in?
Oh, it was in mathematics, but my thesis work was using trying to improve images, doing image segmentation, improving ultrasound images, that kind of stuff.
Okay. So you're going to be doing a lot of data science stuff. That's where you're going to end up being thrown. Welcome, Adam. Luke Limpert.
Yeah, hey, I work with Adam Hauntz at SDI. Prior to SDI, I have about 10 years of manufacturing experience. A lot of the steel manufacturers you named, I've done a lot of work with. I used to produce tapered rolling dies for Nucor. Once I got my mechanical engineering technology degree, I moved down to Tennessee to work for a Japanese tier 1 automotive supplier.
I know that one.
Where I became a heat treat engineer. For the most part, we did process development for Sumitomo and Gerdau steels. After working with them for about 5 years, I came to SDI to do some system development and process analytics.
When did you go to SDI?
I've been here for about 1 year now.
Were you in Knoxville or were you in Athens?
I was in Knoxville.
Yep. Got it. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. In fact, I use one of the case studies I show is all the time is from I have a case study from that tier 1 automotive supplier that I'll show you that we did. And that last one, Mira, hopefully it's Mira.
Yeah, no, it's Miras.
Okay.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
My name is Miras. Yeah, I am with Scaling Automation, doing automation in biopharmaceutical space. I've worked for Emerson for the past 3 years. Got pretty dissatisfied a little bit in some sense, and then decided to join a company that has a bit of a different
vision
structure and vision, especially. Yes, and so. Yeah, that's how I joined basically this mentorship program, and so I'm really looking forward to learning nuts and bolts of this whole digital strategy. So yeah, really excited.
Awesome. So for those of you who don't know, Scaling Automation, they're an Industry 4.0 systems integrator in the same. Well, they're transitioning to Industry 4.0 systems integrator in the same vein as GIS. So whereas GIS in Ireland was built from the ground up as Industry 4.0. Skellig has specialized in Emerson integrations in the pharmaceutical industry for a long time, and they're transitioning into Industry 4.0. And they're Paul O'Sullivan, who you guys should all be familiar with. Paul O'Sullivan. Paul is the principal at Skellig, and he's basically building, the world's first fully Industry 4.0 systems integrator, primarily focused on the pharmaceutical industry. So he's got some really, really cool stuff that they're doing. All right, great. Welcome, everybody. What we're going to do is we're going to take a quick 5-minute break, or bio break for everybody, and we'll come back, talk about what I've been doing, and then we'll get into the supply chain presentation. So again, this session is a combination of both mentees and mastermind members. We're doing our end of the year presentation. We're going to kind of talk about year in review. We're going to do our supply chain presentation. And then I'm going to talk about some stuff for 2022, what you guys should be able to, what you'll expect, what we're going to start on next year in January. Okay. So we'll be back in 5 minutes.
Thank you guys for watching this video.